And they're living in your town. They have arrived. What? They're all around. So many aliens living in your town. Are you scared of aliens?
Hello, weirdos. How the heck is everybody doing out there in Weirdo Land?
Pretty good, man.
Feeling weird. Got a beer. Lubed up.
We got a couple beers going on here in the studio. Say aye if you're drinking a beer.
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, I saw a couple brewskis get cracked open.
Vicky, no beer for you?
No.
Weak. You're acting like you got school in the morning or something.
Yeah. Well, I have a long drive, so.
Do you have a long commute where you drive from your house to work?
No, from here.
Oh. You have a designated driver. You got your daughter here.
No, thank you.
She's your daughter's kind of helping out behind the scenes, which is awesome.
Yeah, it sure is.
Is your daughter a fellow weirdo?
Yes, she inherited some of her mother's ability, so she's going to be expert level weirdo soon.
Do you find that, okay, so you are a psychic. Do you find that people who have the gift, do they give birth to other psychics? Is that how it works?
Usually, yeah, it runs in the family.
So is it possible, because you've told me before that I could potentially have some gift-like qualities, is it possible my mom or my dad has some type of gift and never knew that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's, some people have raw potential, whether it's, playing the flute or psychic abilities.
Right. And we all have that ability. It just, some of us are a little stronger. Just like we all have an IQ, some IQs are a little bit higher than others.
There's a psychic spectrum.
Yes.
Okay. Who on the show has the highest other than you? Psychic spectrum.
You.
Yeah. In your face, Becky.
I don't know. I think I'm the dark horse.
Beckett's the lowest, of course, right? So I heard a side conversation before we started. I wrote down some notes. Beckett, what were you talking about? You were talking about creepy old man. What's this creepy old man conversation that's going on? Vicky, why don't you take the reins on this one?
Well, he was speculating. He was asking Denny's what's like the youngest that he could, I assume, date a young lady.
How old
At
are
his
you?
current
I'm
age.
36, so I've always gone with the half your age plus 7, which sounds hokey, but when you actually play it out,
It comes out to
25.
25,
Yeah.
yes.
After your age plus 7.
half your age plus
Oh,
7.
half your age
Plus 7.
plus 7. When you start doing formulas, that's when you know you are you're creepy. If you're doing formulas.
You're like, carry the 1.
Yeah, if you're making a math formula to determine whether you're creepy or not. You're
Well, I
creepy.
used to always date older girls, but that was when I was younger.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
all right.
It's kind of like McConaughey.
As
I
long
get
as
older,
she
they
does
stay the
half
same
your
age.
So Vicky, what's your thought on this?
Well, I had said I didn't know the formula, but I had said 25, which was like 11 years. I think it depends on, too, what your age is. Like, it would be different if he were, like, in his 50s.
That's why
then I would give him a bigger span
Okay.
than
the
11 years.
That's why my algorithm works, because if you're 50, then it still works.
Okay, if you're 50, what's the youngest? If you're 50 years old, can you date a 25-year-old? Is it creepy?
I think
25
that's
plus
creepy.
7.
That's creepy.
So it'd be
That's-
32.
Okay, so she's off 7 years. It's considered creepy. I always felt like if you can rent a car, you're an adult.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know,
true.
25.
It's true.
25 is a big year.
I feel like everyone's an adult. At 25, you should start to kind of get your shit together a little bit, right?
Right.
No?
Shit, at 36, you should start.
Yeah.
Although I just read something to where in modern times, what we used to say was 21, now you take a 21, you have to kind of do a little bit of math. They are 25 or 26 socially, according to a couple studies that I read. What are your thoughts on that, Denny's?
Yeah, no, I think I've read something similar. They're saying that just the way that we're progressing through, that some people, like we've gotten, I guess, a little bit softer, I guess, So like people that were, 18, there's people that are actually like 16 were going off to wars and fighting and smoking cigarettes and drinking whiskey, they were doing all that stuff now. I mean, we do it, I guess, at a young age now, but when you watch old movies, doesn't it feel like the actors, they're like adults, they're like men?
Well, not only just movies. If you watch any of those documentaries about wars back in the day,
totally.
they'll do a reenactment where a soldier's reading a letter to his wife back home. We fought 9 wars today. 11 men died in my arm. I just turned 19.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
it's such a tale of horror, and they're so young.
So I think that ages you. So because we don't have those struggles now, we probably just age a little bit softer, I think.
Well, I think it's all depends on your time period because I was watching, there's something on a channel about a certain celebrity and his affinity for younger girls.
Who is this celebrity? Call his ass out.
Oh, you want me to?
Yes.
The Surviving R. Kelly that's on.
Oh, yeah.
It's so fun. I actually have an email and a
been-
topic tonight about the R. Kelly thing
Okay.
where someone's struggling. I'm glad you brought that up.
But so I was thinking about it. It's like absolutely this time, but years ago, girls were married off at 14. You know, so again, it's relative. I'm not defending him by any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying
For
that
sure.
that the times dictate what that age thing is, whether it's creepy, whether it's criminal, because it wasn't criminal when 14-year-olds were being married
Let
off.
me go ahead and delve into this R. Kelly. Do you have something to say, Denny's?
Oh no, I'm with it. With what Vicky's saying, I'm with it. I'm with it. What she's saying.
Well, here's the R. Kelly email that I got. It says, okay, dear weird whatever, I love R. Kelly's music. I always have. I always heard rumors about what a bad guy he was, but now it's looking like he really is an awful person. I'm struggling because I watched the documentary about him and he really is a monster. With that said, I still love his music in all caps. It helps me in my life. He is literally my favorite singer. Am I a terrible person if I still listen to his music? I'm not going to lie. If he came out with a new album, I'd probably buy it because I love his music so much. I am a woman too, which makes me feel even worse. What are your thoughts on this? Does what he did mean I can no longer listen to his music? Kelly from Palm Beach Gardens. Let's go ahead and delve into that one.
So my answer is you can, because he's going to get civilly sued. So the more money he makes, the more victims can get from him. And I would use it like, say someone invented a cure for cancer.
Time out. I'm so you're.
Is that a vacuum?
There's a vacuum. We have a vacuum interruption right now.
Yeah.
I thought we were soundproof.
Okay, as you were, Beckett.
clearly
so
not.
sorry.
So say someone invented a cure from cancer, and it was like he was at the level of Hitler. You know, he's a horrible person. Would we not use his medicine for cancer because he was a horrible person? I mean, of course. Like, if it benefits this person, like the art that this guy has made, as horrible as a person he might have been or have transgressions, like I said, if you're worried about the monetary thing, like he's going to be sued out the yin-yang. And if the guy's bankrupt and doesn't have any money for the victims to get, you know, I don't think he's keeping a lot of his money.
Vicky, what's your point of view?
I'm currently struggling with this because I do like R. Kelly's music. I truly do. I have not listened since I was vaguely aware of the lawsuit that happened years ago, but it wasn't in my mainstream consciousness. So I am deciding whether I'm going to
Okay,
listen or not.
R. Kelly aside, let's just talk about people who are horrible human beings that
Chris-
create great art.
Chris Brown.
Does that mean, okay, if someone's a monster, do you still listen to their music? I mean, what if I found that Billy Joel was a terrible, terrible son of a bitch? Dilemma for me. That'd be my R. Kelly. What is your thoughts on that? Can you still enjoy someone's art, but, you know, condemn their behavior? Denny's.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can also like somebody's art if they differ from you politically or differ from you spiritually, you know?
But I feel like differing from you politically is different than being a
something-
monster.
A monster,
Yeah.
like doing something horrible. Yeah, I mean,
But we were talking about in the last podcast, if it's against your, like, there's gray area, then there's black and white.
For
and the black
sure.
and white is when something is going, they're doing something strongly against and contrary to your core values.
But I wonder, too, how many people will say, I'm never going to listen to R. Kelly again, but quietly listen to R. Kelly. I want people to get real about it. I mean, if you're going to listen to R. Kelly, be honest about it. I want to discuss whether or not it's a, you know, I don't have the answer. I don't know. That's why I'm bringing it up.
yeah. It's confusing. I mean, I just would hate to listen to his music and for him to benefit, like you said,
Exactly.
financially.
Yes.
But you're saying, you know, with the courts and all that stuff. So, I mean, you can take solace in that. But, I mean, there's nothing in the rule books that you can't be a dick and be talented. There's literally nothing in the rule books that says you can't do that.
And I don't think anyone's arguing that. It's the
Is it
aftermath.
ethically wrong?
Yeah,
It's hard
to
to say.
support
I
it.
mean-
And I only bring that up is because I actually had a few people ask me about this. It's very tough.
It's a real big topic right now. People are talking about that because people have been listening to R. Kelly for a better part of a decade.
Well, it kind of goes back with the whole theory we've talked about before too, where serial killers they get accolades when you kill somebody in today's day and age.
Yeah.
There's a really good chance you're going to be a media sensation, and if you're a media sensation, you now have, fans writing you.
yeah.
You're
got a
actually
platform.
You're better off than when you were, before you killed people. That's kind of messed up.
You're right. Well, that just shows there's an ass for every seat, man. Some people are into serial killers.
They are.
If there's just any type of person there's a person that likes that type of person.
Well, I will call myself out because there's also another celebrity that I am a huge fan of that has had controversy with, younger women, and that's Woody Allen. And I can tell you that, how he married,
Sun Yi?
Mia Farrow's daughter. And then there's been other people that have come out that say that they were very young and they were the inspiration for his movie Manhattan. I can tell you with him, I will still watch Woody Allen. I'm a hypocrite.
You're just being real.
I'm being real. I'm a hypocrite. I know that I will watch Woody Allen movies regardless of how many people come out and say, when I was 17 years old, I dated Woody Allen. R. Kelly, he's probably out for me. But
So
I'm a hypocrite.
You could never listen to Bump and Grind again.
Oh, no, not that one. That wasn't one of my favorite songs anyway.
I got you. I'm just merely asking here. I would love to hear from the audience about this. Tell me your point of view. What do you think? Can you still listen guilt-free? Some of these monsters that are out there. We're finding there's a lot of monsters out there.
Well, for real, you say Chris Brown, like he's got some smooth music, man.
Talented.
But, I mean,
Talented.
definitely got some aggression.
He's a good-looking guy.
Totally.
He's a phenomenal singer.
And
he's a great
dancer.
artist and a phenomenal dancer.
Well, I
And
think
it's all pissed away because he sucks.
well,
But he's got too much aggression.
Well, I think if you're being rational, you can have a debate saying, yes, someone can be talented in their respective field and still be a horrible person. I remember we had talked about a celebrity that had hit somebody, and I think it was Kevin who had said the comment, yeah, but he's a great actor, blah, blah, blah. He's a terrible person, terrible guy. And he really denounced the guy and said he was a great actor and got a lot of shit from that. To me, you can still say someone's a great actor. They're a horrible person.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey's a terrible person.
Terrible person.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Got this one. I get a lot of emails about how to deal with death. We talk a lot about spirits and all that stuff. I don't think I read this last week. It's entitled "How to Cope with the Death of a Loved One." Did I read that last week? Okay. Hey, Jaybird. My dad died 5 months ago, and it's been hard. I'm very depressed. I can't sleep. When I do, I have nightmares. I was very close with him. I'm not finding any enjoyment out of life right now. I know you lost your mom a few years back, and it was very public. How did you cope with all the depression? I know you were very close with your mom. I haven't told anybody I'm feeling bad. I go home every night. I work, and then I sit in silence. Any advice on how I can cope better? Thank you, Regina from Fort Lauderdale. First thing I would say is stop sitting in silence. Get out of your room and go do an activity. I know you can relate to this, Vicky. 'Cause
Absolutely.
it's very raw for you. Your mom passed last year. What would you say for advice?
First of all, like you said, get out and tell somebody. Share how you're feeling. And share it with someone who's going to not necessarily talk you out of it. Like there's starving children in Africa kind of talk where they give you, where they try to they're trying to legitimately
Minimize your feelings.
But they're trying to make you feel better. It's just, that's not the thing. You
Sure.
want somebody to say, I understand that you are grieving. I understand that you're in pain. So that's the first step, is to make sure that it was a she. Make sure she shares that with someone. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know for me, when my mom passed away, it was very public. It was odd because I'd be at an event and people would come up and say, yeah, your ratings are going to go down now that your mom's dead. And they weren't trying to be a jerk. They were drunk and just saying, they're just kind of speaking their mind. I know for me, if anyone's struggling with losing a loved one, sit down with a grief counselor for a couple weeks. Talk about it like you're saying. Talk about it with someone who's been through it. That's going to help. I wouldn't say talk about it with someone who hasn't been through it, because they're not going to give you that in-depth emotional healing you need.
Right.
Because it's okay to be mad. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to have panic. It's okay to be depressed. And you may be depressed for a year or two. But there are ways to deal with it. I would say stay busy, be creative, be around people who uplift you. If something gives you negative feelings, stay away from it for right now. Just surround yourself with positive reinforcement and a positive environment. I mean, am I off on that?
No, you're absolutely. But I think that when one of those, I call it waves, where I get this way, I'll be right in the middle of something random, and all of a sudden I just start crying.
Sure.
Because I think of my mom. And if you have those waves, go ahead. Let
Have
that
it.
wave come through. But don't let it be a tidal wave. Let it be a small wave, feel it, and then go on.
Go out and do something.
Absolutely.
I think trying to be creative, whether you're into photography or if you are into, weightlifting, go out and do something or be creative. It really does help. It does.
Yep.
Beckett, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, some of the greatest things came out of people being upset. Like the writing, like it actually like helps you like move on, and some of the greatest creativity have come out from someone being cathartic. Some of the greatest writers and comedians have such a dark side.
Sure.
Really
yeah.
depressed.
Well, I know a lot of people reach out to me because my mom passed away during the holidays, and anytime a loved one that's close in the family passes away, in the holidays, people reach out to me because that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. It is very tough.
And I think our culture, like Americans, are particularly guilty about this. We don't want to feel, so we take an aspirin, we take a Xanax, we drink. And
Sounds like a
Here,
party.
here, guys. I'm drinking right now, not to feel
right.
Beckett.
and what happens is when you emotionally
numb.
kick the can down the road emotionally, then you don't actually deal with it, right? And I think that people like are so worried about crying and being upset when that's like whether you believe in God or Mother Nature or biology or whatever, like that is like evolutionary. That is just primal in our instinct. It's a way for us to cope with things. And, whether it's burying or cremating, having the process, crying, being upset, hugging, having physical contact with other family members and close friends, like that's all part of the process. So if you try not to feel and you try to procrastinate on dealing with things, and I'm guilty of, we're calling each other out. Like I'm guilty of trying not to deal with something, right?
Yeah, I think we are, not all of us, but when you're down and out, you're dealing with some bullshit. You don't want to be a burden. You don't want to be all depressed. But I think you should reach out to somebody.
Yeah.
Go ahead and talk to somebody. I mean, I talk to Denny's, whether he likes it or not. I'm giving him my bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
think
great.
Everybody needs somebody to like talk to.
Agree. You got to vent. I think sometimes too people think they're gossiping. There's a difference between gossiping and venting for your sanity.
That's true.
Yes.
You got to
For
vent,
sure.
man. You have to vent. If you got a boss you don't like, or you got a girl that's giving you shit, or you got a dog that's doing bullshit, or a cat, or a
Yeah.
or a grandpa, you gotta vent.
Yeah, and when I realized culturally, I've lived out of the country a couple times, and in other countries like Argentina, it's normal to have a psychologist that they go to. It's like going to a dentist, doctor. Like it's just a normal maintenance. Where in the United States, if you went on a date with a girl and she was like, "Oh, my shrink said X, Y, and Z," you'd be like, "Hey, check, please."
Yeah.
And we're so it's such the American culture in the past, like rub some dirt on it, especially for men.
Yeah.
And we don't know. Our brain is arguably one of the most important things to maintenance, and we are like only go reactively to a psychologist, psychiatrist, and marriage people, like people that are in
For sure.
marriages, they go after someone's cheated, way too late.
Yeah.
Right? Go before, like whether you're religious or not. One of the things I think the church has got right is they do pre-marriage counseling. Like, how does your partner receive love? How can we work on these things together? One day, night a week, like just cut out time. You're busy. You're starting a business. And whether it's in relationships, business, health, being reactive is always way more expensive than being proactive.
Absolutely.
And I think that if people are way better at mental health, like it would be a huge thing. So in terms of grieving, I totally agree, Jay Bird.
But are we all crazy though?
Totally.
Don't we all have our own bullshit we're dealing with?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Everyone's an oddball. Everyone's a weirdo. If you're listening right now, you are a weirdo, and we love you. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, I think that there's plenty of things we can ding our, the younger generations, my generation, millennials, all those on. But I think that we're starting to appreciate more people being more authentic. I know that maybe sounds counterintuitive, but I think if you look at politics and public figures and everything, people like when someone's vulnerable. And they like when they're authentic because it's a breath of fresh air. Because so many people are polished up on their Instagram page and everything.
For sure.
Instagram is a bunch of bullshit. No one's living their best life. Yeah, but the person that's saying they're living their best life, trust me, they're dealing with their own bullshit as well.
Totally.
We all got our shit.
100%.
It's just funny how chaotic everything is in life and how humans crave just everything to be in order, to have sequence, to be structurally. The way we make structures is not a naturally occurring thing in nature. We build the land around what we want. It's very odd.
It is odd. It's also too how we have a necessity to belong on some level. We have to, whether you're a loner or not. If you're a loner, you got to belong in your own little loner world.
For sure.
There's a world you got to create where you are the loner and you're able to survive being that loner guy.
For sure.
You need that kind of shit. Because it's kind of a weird ride.
It is. It's very weird.
I think, kind of talking about this weird shit, we should kind of delve right into Denny's Random Facts.
Oh, nice.
It's becoming a popular feature with your friends.
In this room.
Yes. Okay, Denny's, give us some random facts that's going to blow our minds. Now, Vicky, who is our educator, she's going to give you a grade on each fact.
I love it. So I found this cool, I like phobias. I like looking at all the different phobias there is. And there's one called cherophobia. It's the irrational fear of experiencing fun or happiness. Someone who has this isn't necessarily a sad person overall, but instead would avoid activities in fear that they would become joyful or to gain happiness from it.
Totally dated a girl like this. Totally dated a girl. She did not want to have fun. She was afraid of fun.
Well, so some people experience an anxiety from the fun because what they're afraid of is that if you're having too much fun, you're doing something wrong. And it's a weird irrational fear that develops.
It's possibly like the worst thing that you could ever have.
I don't want to have fun. No. Oh my God. Talk about
That's
drama.
horrible. That's horrible.
I mean, isn't that AKA high maintenance?
Yeah. But that was one of the more random ones I found. I couldn't believe that one.
It's kind of amazing, this stuff that humans become afraid of. There's a lot of fears out there that are very irrational.
Humans fixate. It's weird. Our bodies are designed like you touch something hot, you're like, and then next time you're like, I'm not going to touch that. Your brain learns. But sometimes it fixates on certain things, and then you become obsessed with it. It's so weird.
It's a coping mechanism.
Do you think people become obsessed because during their growing up, during their developmental years, something psychologically happens that makes them obsess about certain things? Do you think the obsession comes in your adolescent developmental years?
Yes, I do.
I do too.
I think
I
a lot
really
of
do.
fixations develop in those. I'd say the first
Yeah,
12
I do.
years.
I think a lot of your weird issues you don't understand about yourself, I think they develop between ages 3 to 12. I do.
Now, some people
Yeah,
believe that if
absolutely.
you have certain things, it's because you've carried it over from a past life. That some of your issues are carried over.
That makes sense too.
I had a psychic tell me the reason why I am afraid of heights is because I was a pilot in my former life and my parachute did not work and then I fell to my death. That's why I'm afraid of heights. But I also kind of feel like she was trying to get my money. I don't know. Kind of a shitty psychic. She said my name was Jeremy.
Here's another random fact for you guys. This is a fun one. Nearly 3% of the ice in Antarctica glaciers is penguin urine.
Oh, wow.
Pretty awful.
The sub-zero temperatures, it's so cold that water doesn't evaporate there, so it just kind of just becomes glacial.
Are penguins peaceful or are they dicks?
I think they're pretty chill. They keep themselves.
I don't know. I've seen some videos where it looks like
That's why I asked.
really?
Yeah,
animals,
a little,
yeah.
kind of like the old cow kangaroos.
I think they're allowed to be dicks. They live like a tough life, man.
The
Well,
worst.
those kangaroos are so pretty and cute, but kangaroos they'll mess your life up, man.
Do penguins have knees?
We all have needs, Beckett.
No, knees.
Oh, needs. We all have needs. We all have needs, damn it.
They must not the way they walk.
I have no idea if they have needs or not, but I do know they have needs.
You get a D for that one because that was just disgusting.
Oh, D. I agree. It's
D
kind
for
of,
disgusting.
yeah, it sucked,
Yeah.
Denny.
3%.
No, I'm just kidding. Vicky's tough. She's a teacher.
I get it, and go for it.
What else you got?
Here, Vicky might like this one. Saint Lucia is the only country in the entire world to be named after a woman. I bring this up because of the Year of the Women.
Oh, very sexist.
Very topical.
Very sexist globe we have.
Yeah, the French, they shipwrecked there on December 19th. It was known as, I guess, the feast day of Saint Lucy. So they decided to declare it that. Pretty cool.
I got to give that one an A.
Love
Kiss
it.
ass.
This was a fun fact I didn't even know anything about.
Is it a fun fact?
Do you guys know what Los Angeles' full name is? Did you know that it was an abbreviation of its actual entire name?
Well, I mean, I think we all know that, but tell the audience, Denny's.
Well, so I'm going to do my best, and I apologize for the how I'm going to butcher this, but El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora La Reina de Los Angeles de Porciuncula.
Denny's, that was sexy as shit. Gave me
thanks.
shivers. You nailed it.
It's definitely a mouthful, but it translates to Town of Our Lady, the Queen of Angels of the River Porciuncula.
I mean, clearly you're going to give him a bad grade because it was too long, right, Vicky?
That's cool, though, right?
That one was interesting. That's an A.
That's an A.
They shorted it down to just the Angels now.
I love it.
And LA, even shorter.
And here's one for the guys since I did one for the women.
Oh, okay.
Just for fun, because who knows? Let's see. A statistics poll conducted in 2015 declared that more than 1/3 of all divorce filings in the U.S. contain the word Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah, I got to
that
tell
totally
you.
makes
You know
sense.
what? Here's my thing. Social media, you don't have to have a relationship for social media. That you don't. Where is it in the rule book now
right.
that if you're in a relationship, you have to post it on social media? I know a ton of people that don't like putting their relationships on social media. Why is it? There's this whole wave of you got to put it on social media. If not, you are
It's
a
not
dick.
real.
I've gotten in trouble for that.
But why though?
I think people think it's shady now, but I mean, there's just people that want some privacy.
Well, I mean, for me personally, I don't like putting my love life on social media because people are absolutely assholes on social media.
Yeah, you're right.
They're the worst.
Yeah,
the
they're
worst form of humanity it lives on social media. I don't want to put my near to my heart subject matter on that.
Totally.
Well, what about this?
I
Would
get
you
it.
be friends with them on Facebook?
Be friends with who?
With whoever you were in a relationship with, would you be friends with them on Facebook so you could see their post and they would see yours?
Oh yeah, my whole thing is let's not say, "Hey, we're on Facebook," so we cause attention only because I have seen so many people, and I'm just speaking on my own personal perspective. I've seen so much drama happen with relationships on social media, whether it's Twitter, Facebook. I mean, just because you're not on social media does not mean you don't like somebody.
Yeah, I know. People act like if you're not on social, you don't exist. It's crazy.
Vicky, you being a woman, what are your thoughts on that?
I wouldn't be friends with someone I was in a relationship on Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would not be friends with them because I know I would end up getting ticked off and they might end up getting ticked off. So it's just better if we just have, I don't want to monitor them. I don't want to know anything about their page.
We keep it separate,
let them
baby.
let them have their Facebook time or whatever time. I don't need to be on there for that and I don't need to watch it.
Agreed.
I agree.
Here's the negative side of that fact. They also noticed a rise in referencing Facebook in child custody cases.
Well, you know what? Denny's has got a very interesting theory, which I really like. He kind of feels like there's a modern day purge going on, but social media style. Give us your theory about people being angry on social media and the correlation of violence.
So I've wondered this, if there's a correlation that the government provided social media, internet, that the world could have and speak to each other, communicate immediately. And clearly they didn't know the potential of it, or maybe they did. Who knows if it's the grand scheme. But you wonder if they developed it as a means for people to communicate with each other and then eventually get to a point where they're like yelling at each other like we do now. But as an outlet, so people don't keep things pent in. Because think about it. Everybody's now got an outlet. Think about all those people who felt, like they were kept out of society for whatever they believe or whatever they're into. They can now find people on the internet that also feel those same ways. So I don't know if it's lowering crime, but what I would say is that I feel like it could, and I have no stats to back this up. It's just a theory I've come up with.
Theory, y'all. Theory.
A theory.
Denny's theory.
That you wonder if random violent outbursts have decreased due to people now having some sort of outlet to vent.
I'd like to get your theory or your at least
I
opinion.
have more random outbursts because of social media.
Well, that being
myself.
stated, true.
I feel like
More
what social
on the
media
rant level.
Yeah, I feel like social media brings out a side of people that it's
Never was there
Kind of
before.
like the stranger of all of us. We all got a stranger in us. Listen to the Billy Joel song. We all have somebody in ourselves. Everybody. This is my theory. We all have a person we don't show to the world.
They're the real you.
I'm not saying you're skinning people and wearing them as coats, but we all have a face that we only show ourselves. Do you guys agree or disagree with that theory?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Internet tough guy. It's like road rage. Like you never act like that in person, but you're in the car. You're like, I'm gonna
I
fucking
feel
flick
like
this guy off.
social media brings out that stranger in us where you're like, fuck you, motherfucker. Your daughters suck. Everyone's awful. And this is a person that's on the PTA. They normally would never say this.
For
but
sure.
They've got this built-up secretive rage.
Right.
But you wonder if it's a secret government purging.
The stranger, my friends. We all have a mask. We don't show the world. I really agree with that.
I know about the stranger.
Anybody that says they don't have a stranger mask is a liar. Fight me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. So that's just my theory. Take it with a grain of salt.
I like it, Denny's. You're getting us fired up. That's good. Here's the other thing I want to talk to you guys about. I think there's a difference between being offended. So I think when people get offended, like for example, we did something on the Weird and Whatever podcast a few months back where I forget what it was. It was a topic we had talked about. I had said something. Somebody was offended, and then they emailed my boss saying Jason needs to be fired, not only from Weird and Whatever, but from the KVJ. Get him off of RMF. That's the kind of offensiveness that I am fighting against. I think you can have a heated, spirited debate with somebody about something you don't agree with, and you're not offended. You're just speaking your point of view. I feel like anytime you clap back or argue and express your point of view, you're now labeled as you're offended and you can't deal with shit. Everyone's offended. If that's the case, that everyone's offended on things that they don't agree with. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's important to share different viewpoints and to learn from them and listen for the sake of learning, not for responding.
Yeah, I am against the offended people that are trying to take people down because they have an opinion. Now, that's barring hatred talk, racism talk.
For sure.
I'm just talking about people who have an opinion about something. I don't like your opinion about this or that. You should lose your job. That's the stuff that I am against.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have the right to have that opinion. You just happen to be, they're probably jealous because you are in a forum where you can express that opinion.
I hate to break it to you, but everyone's in the forum now. Just because I'm on the radio does not mean I have an opinion and only I have an opinion. Everybody's got an opinion now.
That's right.
Everyone can go live. Everyone can get social media claim.
Totally. That's what's crazy about everything. At any moment, anyone can be famous. It's insane.
I got an uncle who's insane. This guy should not be talking to the public. That motherfucker's got access to the world. He could get his shit shared.
Oh, that's when you're watching the news stations and they're popping up tweets of random people. I know nothing about those people. There's people I know, like you said, that I'm like, I know what they say. I'm like, I would not take their word on something.
But there does seem to be, it seems like there is an argument or a discussion about people go, you're offended and blah, blah. I think there's a difference of being offended about something to the point where you're trying to bring someone down and to the point where you can have a heated debate.
Right.
Yeah, for
good.
sure.
And I think it's different. It depends on how you're using offended. People are getting offended at things that they don't have a personal stake in. I think they're taking things to a level that they shouldn't. Like,
Give me an example.
Like if you have a difference of a political opinion, that's not against me.
Exactly.
I shouldn't be offended that you feel another way. I said, okay, this person feels that, but I'm not the one that's the target of it. Now, if you're offended because you don't like how my face looks, that I can be offended at. That's directed
That's
at me.
personal, yeah.
That's some bullshit.
But
yeah.
you know who your favorite celebrity is, that has nothing to do with me. There's
Sure.
no reason for me to be offended.
Yeah.
You know.
Denny's want to piggyback?
I totally agree. I think people are, like you said, they're getting offended about things they don't have stake in. I see fights all the time on the. What's crazy to me now is how accepted it all is. We're just like, it's a Facebook fight. Oh, it's just trolls. You know, like that behavior is not even regulated. It's totally allowed.
And is it the end of the world if someone's offended? I mean, isn't it good to be offended every now and then? Right?
Yeah.
It's good. It's good for the human spirit.
Fuels you up too.
Oh, man.
Who's in the mood to shock the shit out of Ryan Beckett?
Oh yeah, let me go grab that.
Can we
bad boy.
put the dog collar on?
The good old shocker.
So what we're gonna do, Mr. Beckett, we did this with Virginia, and she's never seen Game of Thrones. She speaks out against it all the
I've
time.
never watched it.
All right, perfect. She somehow guessed perfectly. She only got shocked one time. She knows the difference between a bone and a throne. You have to tell me what's the difference between a bone, a real bone, or a Game of Thrones character. All right? Vicky's going to be shocking you with everyone you get wrong. She's going to say, "Winter is coming," and then she shocks your pretty ass.
I don't have to do it in that voice, do I?
You do have to be British.
It's kind of kinky.
Well, we all win, Beckett. Okay, Vicky.
There's like a fetish gag ball over there. Whose is that?
It's a radio station. We got all kind of weird shit here. That's the one thing about radio. There's always weird things going on. Okay, now Vicky, go ahead and practice.
You don't have to do it too tight.
You're British. Winter is it's got to be evil.
Winter is coming.
I want more evil. That was kind of
on.
that was kind of too sexy, honestly.
Oh, I don't know how to do evil.
That was
Winter is
Did you just
coming.
dial up the wattage?
No, I was showing her why.
Okay.
Yes for go.
Wait, don't push
Okay.
it yet.
Okay, I want
That's just gonna do the one thing, right? It's not gonna be the continuous thing, right?
Yeah, we'll find out.
All right, Vicky, one more time. Give me an evil.
Winter is coming.
Okay, now we're ready to play, baby. Mr. Beckett. You want to do a practice round to make sure
No,
it's...
it works.
Make sure it's on.
Is this a Game of Thrones character or is this a bone, Mr. Beckett?
So you said Virginia didn't know because I never watched the show.
Virginia did really well, actually.
because I've never watched the show.
Well,
Yeah, neither.
So you're asking me if
Let's
it's
see how much you know your anatomy. Then.
I'm going to say a name. You tell me, is it a Game of Thrones character or is it a bone?
what kind of bone? Like a human bone?
It's just a fucking bone, Beckett.
A
Gosh.
bone found in the human
the
body.
old
You
bone
shitting
roller
me, Beckett?
coaster.
It's pretty easy. All right, here we go. All right. Varies. Is Varys a bone? Is it the Varys bone or is it Varys? You stabbed me in my dragon heart.
How is it spelled?
It's Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones character?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch, you're lucky.
Okay.
Wait, how many questions are there? Because I feel like we're gonna keep asking you questions.
There's 15 questions.
Jesus.
Just relax. Just enjoy the ride. Okay. Gendry. Is that a bone? The Gendry bone or Gendry a character?
It's a character.
Son of a bitch. Damn it. Okay. Gonna mix this up a little bit.
Jeez.
Is this a Game of Thrones character or a bone? Daenerys Targaryen.
Kind of sounds Latin.
What does that mean? Is that a bone or is that a throne?
Throne.
Throne? You going bone or throne?
Throne.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a throne. Damn it. I want to shock his pretty ass so bad.
What a shock.
Double
The
or nothing.
world.
If I get them all right, you have to get shocked for 10 seconds.
You know what? If you get them all right, Vicky can take it to the highest level and shock me for 10 seconds. That's the deal. That's the deal. We've never gone to a 10.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm really trying to screw him up. I'm so annoyed.
I can't believe it.
It took me so long to come up with this game, and nobody's biting. Braun, Game of Thrones character or a bone?
Braun.
Braun, the brawn bones connected to the, or is it Braun?
I'll go with Braun.
Which one?
Character or bone? Throne?
Yeah.
Oh, this is so annoying. Gosh. All right. Bone or throne?
This is crazy.
It's crazy. Gior Marmont. Gior Marmont.
It's a throne.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Denny's really got the ultimate backfire.
Yeah.
Okay. Malleus.
Malleus?
Malleus. Malleus?
Bone.
It's the ear bone.
I'm just gonna lay this right over here. I'm not gonna need
Oh my
this.
gosh. There's only 2 left.
Oh no.
If he gets them
I
right,
can't believe it.
I'm gonna be so upset. I gotta ride the lightning for 10 seconds.
That's terrible.
Ethymoid. Ethymoid? Is it bones or is it thrones?
It's a bone.
Son of a
Oh, that's so funny.
bone.
I can't believe it.
That one was
can't
tough.
either.
That one was tough.
Oh, shut up. Okay, last one. Maxillae.
Maxilli?
Maxillae. Maxillae!
Bone.
I think it is a bone.
It's a bone!
I can't believe you got all those right. That one's so hard.
Did you go like 8 for 8? Is that what happened?
I can't believe it.
All right, strap it on.
Yeah,
That's
you gotta take
so-
it off.
It's a little something beer. It's my secret.
We're drinking a little something beer, yes, from Lagunitas. That's my Bigfoot, my boy.
That's amazing.
With this company he works for, and I gotta get shocked now. What's better for the people? If Beckett shocks me or Vicky?
He deserves. He deserves.
I guess
a
he
shot.
kind of
You gotta
does.
put it
He
on your
earned
butt.
it.
I'm not putting it on my butt, Beckett. I'm not putting it on my
I was
butt.
gonna say your bone.
All right, so Beckett totally went perfect score on the Bones or Thrones game, and because he did that, I now have to ride the lightning. Denny's, make sure that thing's. Hold on. We gotta
What do I do? Hit.
10. We've never done 10, Denny's.
We do 5.
Let's do 5.
Which button do I hit? Oh, yes.
Hold on, Becky, do not be a dick and hit it right now. You got to make sure. 10 seconds, we said. All right, can I get a
Do you want
count?
another hit before you?
Another hit of
Yeah, I
Wait,
got a
where'd
timer.
you put it?
It's on his thigh.
It's on my upper thigh. If anyone wants to watch the video to make sure we're really doing it.
Nice. It's
Yeah, I
like,
got a 10-second timer.
it's like penance.
All right, okay, Vicky, why don't you give me the 3, 2, 1 countdown? Beckett, then after she does 1, say, "Winter is coming," in your British accent. All right.
3, 2, 1.
Winter's
Okay. Okay. Oh my God! Stop it! Stop! What's the
You have
time?
6 seconds.
What's the time?
It's only 6
Stop.
seconds.
3, 2,
Stop it!
1. You're done.
Did he really do that to dogs?
Yeah, no, it's kind of messed up.
Okay.
You should put it higher.
Okay, here's the thing. So people always say, "Oh, you guys are lying about that. It doesn't hurt that bad." I want Becca to try it for 3 seconds to show that I'm not lying.
Why did he try it for 3
Because
seconds?
he's already done it. He knows we're not lying.
Dude, I hate the lightning. It's awful.
It really is awful.
I think Vicky wants to try it.
No.
Damn, 5 sucks. That
All right.
sucks.
How high does it go? It goes to 10?
It goes to 10.
It goes to 10. That was 5.
I think I had 4 once, and it was like unbearable.
Where would be the worst place to get shocked?
Scrote.
Eyeball.
That's got to be the screw.
Eyeball.
Absolutely scrote.
If you shot it on your eyeball,
Can you
that'd be
even
terrible.
shock an eyeball?
I don't know. You shock anything with nipples, baby.
I love it.
Okay, did we bring any audio now that my heart's finally kind of calming down? Gee, I can't even freaking talk.
Well, I have 3 audio pieces here.
Oh yeah, there's a Bigfoot story out there. We talked a little bit about it on the KVJ show. So apparently there was a lot of Bigfoot sightings out there. I believe in North Carolina. Was it North
Yeah.
Carolina? Yeah, North Carolina. They had spotted a Bigfoot and it got a ton of 911 calls.
I've always thought that there was something in them woods.
You never know what's really out there.
I thought, oh my gosh.
I was like, what in the world is going on back there?
Wait a minute, am I seeing what I'm seeing?
I mean, people are just saying, no. I said, well, come over here and look.
Yeah, they stopping, slowing down. Some will go up the road, turn around.
It's kind of wild looking.
They always sound so.
Yeah, I was just saying they always destroy all credibility.
I mean, it sounds like they've been drinking for 9 years nonstop.
Sipping on
man.
Shine.
No, I feel like a whole bunch of Bigfoot go around and say, "Hey, let's go to North Carolina." Nobody's going to believe them.
Well, here's the thing. It wasn't even a real Bigfoot. Someone had put a statue by the highway, and they said 911 calls were flooded. We got a fucking Bigfoot.
Well, I think they lit up its eyes red.
They did. I mean, it's kind of horrifying.
And they didn't notice it wasn't moving, though.
Vicky, you're driving down a dark road in North Carolina, and you see eyes lighting up. You're not.
I'm stopping. I got the camera out. You forget who I am.
I agree. You are definitely someone that would stop. I thought that was kind of fascinating. I just love Bigfoot news.
Yeah, that was a funny story.
Have you at all got to the Bigfoot side, Beckett?
That Bigfoot exists?
Yeah. All right. Sure.
That said it all.
I've heard enough.
Boner Thrones, Beckett.
It's so annoying. I'm going to take that one to bed with me.
It was like whatever Jason was trying to convince me of, I knew it was the opposite.
I know. I might have oversold it. I get it. That reminds me of one of my favorite Bigfoot clips of all time. This was a guy about 9 or 10 years ago. He saw Bigfoot, and everybody in his local town, they brought the cameras out. All of the news is out there. This is my favorite Bigfoot clip of all time.
I don't know what it was. He's walking upright like a man.
Okay, what did it look like?
It looked like a giant ape with a man's face. This thing was 10 foot tall. He had beautiful hair. I did not shoot
Okay.
the thing,
Was there more than one or just the one?
just the one. And I said, get away from here. Would I get in any trouble if I shot and killed this beast?
I can't answer that question.
Guy, he sounds hammered.
Yeah, so
I don't think he is.
So when he first called 911, that's a combination. That's a collage of like his whole like stint on the news. And when he first called in, they said he was kind of hitting the shine a little bit. So when they went out to go,
he was
they
drunk?
did a
Gosh,
post.
that shows how dumb I am.
They did a post interview with him afterwards, after the next morning, about the Bigfoot sighting because he had called the police.
There's one part in there. They're like, well, "What'd you do with the Bigfoot?" I said, "Get."
That's hilarious.
But it totally ruins credibility when they sound like this.
He's got a pretty peculiar look too.
Have you guys ever drank moonshine before?
I drank it in a parking lot.
I've
once.
drank grain alcohol. It's probably pretty close.
Virginia from the show, she brought some over illegally over state lines, of course, and that put some hair on your nards. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
My God,
Dude, I was leaving a 7-Eleven and there's guys drinking Shine right in the corner, and they were like, "You want to take a hit?" And I was like, "Sure." And I ended up hanging out with them for like an hour and a half.
That's
But
awesome.
I was like, I have to wait till this stuff wears off here.
I think we all agree Shine brings people together.
In a 7-Eleven parking lot.
Vicky, I know you had some audio you wanted to bring in today. What do you have?
Yeah, I found a clip of a man who claims that he died and that he went to heaven and met God. And it was a long clip, so I had to pick a certain part, but just to be uplifting, because that's my New Year's resolution, try
Love
to be
it.
positive.
Very good.
This is a clip of when he was getting ready to go back and what it felt like to get a hug from God.
Oh.
He put his arms around me. He put his arms around me. And it was a feeling that I can't explain. It was unconditional love, but it was words. I can't tell you the words. And I'm sorry, but I always act like this because I can feel it again.
I mean, it's so sad to listen to.
Is it sad though? I mean, it's almost kind of uplifting. If you had the arms of God around you, you would think you'd come back to this round being, yeah, God hugged me.
Well, it's interesting. The first part of the clip, it was too long to cut it down, but the first part of the clip is that when he gets there, he realized that God is standing behind him, and later he explains like he pictured him in like this big chair, and God actually says, "Do not turn around and look at me." Because if you look at me, then you have to stay. And I don't want you to stay because I have things for you to do. So you need to go back.
Oh, don't look at me.
Don't look at him.
It's kind of how they are in The Sopranos. I've been watching The Sopranos.
And the Blair Witch.
Don't look at me. No, that's interesting. I've heard that before too. People who have crossed over and then come back, they talk about that love. They feel this everlasting love, this blanket of love around them. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely related to that because I've told the story before how when I was afraid and I pictured myself, in heaven and sitting on God's lap, and I felt, in real life, I felt arms and a warmth go around my shoulders, and from that day forward, I was never afraid anymore. So that's why I could relate to that clip.
What are you afraid of?
Snakes.
Really? That's your number one fear?
And don't even think about doing some gag with snakes.
So, would you be more horrified if it started raining snakes or if it started raining blood?
Oh, snakes.
Really?
Yeah. Now, I've gotten a little better, and because I decided that I shouldn't be afraid of them because they do serve a purpose. And so in order to curb my fear, I started pulling up pictures of snakes and hats. And I'm not as scared of snakes. If you've ever seen a snake in a hat, they're really cute.
All right.
Would you be more afraid of snakes raining from the sky or severed legs? What would freak you out more? Snakes? I'm sorry.
Because the legs aren't moving.
They just lay there.
No.
Yeah.
To me, snakes in the sky means there's been some kind of weird weather phenomenon and it's taking the snakes and they're dropping them off. If it's raining severed legs, what the shit does that mean? Beckett, what does that mean?
Legs?
Yeah. You got nothing. I stumped Beckett.
It's Armageddon.
I love it.
It's a bone.
I did want to talk to y'all about, we had talked last week about getting a social media producer. We've talked about having people come along, Vicky's ghost hunts and ghost investigations, and coming along the ones we go along with too. Vicky, where are we at with all that? I know we've had a lot of submissions.
Yeah, a lot of submissions. I did book my readings.
Okay.
So I had my 10. I did that. There's been a lot of people within those that asked for the position and also asked, to tag along for Ghost Things. So I think what we need to do, another promotion. And because I seriously do need team members.
Yes.
So I thought that since we're a fairly active team, I would like to choose a couple of listeners to come out with me and then possibly going through the applicants, seeing how they perform actually in the field, and then choosing 2 team members from there.
Almost kind of like an American Idol for the ghost investigation team.
Well, they actually did tryouts like that for ghost hunters when they were looking for replacements.
I love it, because just so you, the people, know, we had a shit ton of submissions. I mean, I'm still getting them now. People that want to be part of the social media team, people that want to be a part of the ghost team. I got to be honest, we're not going to be able to accommodate everybody. It's going to have to kind of be a little bit of a competition because there's going to be people competing for this only because there's been so many submissions. Right. But I do think there's a way to get everybody involved to where if you're interested in being a part of this little team we got right here, if you're not choosing as the social media producer, you'll be able to have a chance to go out with Vicky or go out with us on an investigation and still be a part of the team. But there's just too many people, unfortunately, which is a good problem for us. Yeah. I just feel bad that I have to turn away so many people. If we haven't got back to you, we apologize. We're still kind of figuring out how we're going to do all of this. Anybody?
And I think at this point, I actually overbooked for my readings because I lost count. So I did have to turn some people away, and I feel bad about that. But I'm sure that I will offer the 10 people for 10 minutes free again in the future. So keep listening, and you can maybe get your reading if you missed out this
How
time.
much do you charge for an hour reading An hour reading.
I don't do hour readings.
Okay, how much do you charge for a 30-minute reading?
30 minutes would be 50.
Okay, because I get those questions all the time. How much does Vicky charge? I'd like to sit down with her because I know one-on-one sitting down with somebody is a lot more intimate and you can get a lot more stuff done.
Right.
So if you're interested in getting a reading with Vicky, email her. What's a great place to email you?
It's contact@pointparanormal.com.
Or hit me up, Jason KVJ on our Instagram. Again, just please be patient with us. We got a lot of people who have submitted, applications for this. So we'll get back to you. We promise. And then anybody has anything else to add? Denny's final thoughts. Give us something really good.
Yeah. Did you want to hear about the tardigrades? I had an audio clip too.
Oh, Denny's, what a jerk I am.
Yeah.
Because I know
I get it.
Well, I know Becca doesn't have his homework. Becca, do you have your homework?
No, I was going to talk about sex.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, put his name on the board. Put his name on the board.
I couldn't bring those sounds in.
Beckett, you do have a demerit. You're supposed to bring audio in.
I know.
Everyone go, no.
He's gonna be talking future sex there, right?
That's right.
All right, Denny's, give us your clip, then we'll talk about Beckett's weird fetish.
All right, so check out how
Sex of the future.
This is a new tardigrade they found, and I'll let the guy.
Tardigrade. What's a tardigrade, Denny's?
So it's the common word I guess the people are using now is the water bear. It's like this really tiny thing. I guess they discovered it back in the 1700s, but with the advancements in technology, we can now see even more microscopic things. But they're the most resilient creature on the planet, which actually, as this guy explains it to you, just think about it, because this could be an alien bacteria or an alien creature brought to this planet. I mean,
Denny's, I've always kind of had a theory, unicellular organisms could potentially be aliens.
Well, this creature's like the ultimate failsafe because it can survive in space, a vacuum of space. It can survive in extreme hot and extreme cold, and it's microscopic. It lives on organic properties. So what's cool about it is if everything else self-destructs, these things are very resilient, and they can even go into a stasis where they can live like up to 10 years.
I'm sorry, there's no way aliens aren't real.
Yeah, that's right. It's hard to dispute aliens when we have crazy ass things on this planet.
It's just it's the way it is.
Like, I mean, technically, if you want to get real, like, thinking about it, this entire creature's existence is on such a small scale. It doesn't even know about us. It's living by the lessons of life that it knows, and
its own universe. It's got its own drama. It's got its own unicellular.
It's got its own own drama.
Its own amoeba drama.
And we also think, oh, we're the top of the chain, but like from a microscope, we could be in a lens, a scientist lens. But anyway, back to the tardigrades here. Check this out.
Lovers of weird and wonderful animals will already know about the famously sturdy tardigrade, or as it's sometimes called, water bear. This tiny microscopic creature can survive in extreme cold down to negative 328 degrees Fahrenheit and extreme heat up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. In fact, they can even survive in the intense radiation and crushing vacuum of space. Talk about a super creature, right? So you can understand why scientists were excited to find a version of this microscopic creature living with its tendril-encrusted eggs and thriving in a Japanese parking lot. This is the first example of this particular tardigrade family called Amphonaceus to be found in East Asia.
So I think next time, definitely pick a longer clip.
All right, so there's a lot of information to absorb there. But this new species was found in a parking lot in Japan. That's crazy. That's not crazy.
What part of Japan? What part of Japan?
It was. Get out of here.
I'm just kidding.
But that just shows you
I love it.
Insane
baby.
it all is. They found it in a parking lot.
No, it is all insane. I'm completely busting your balls. I love the clip.
Not in the oceans, not in space, not in mountains.
Always goes back to that one question, Beckett. Why are we here? Why are we here, Denny's? On that note, give us that outro music.
But I think Beckett's going to talk about...
Oh, that's right.
We can save it for next time.
No, I think people are clamoring for Beckett's sex talk.
Future sex.
Well, I was kind of curious what everyone thought about, we joke around how somehow I became the robot sex guy, but...
I wonder why. You bring it up all the time.
No one's shown me proof
That's
that
like
it
me,
actually
Denny's.
exists.
I don't know why people think I love pizza.
You guys want to order a pizza?
Yes.
Always.
So just kind of curious, we talked about before the show the movie Demolition Man. and how in society it reached a point where there's no physical contact.
Okay, so Demolition Man, if you could, give us a 10-second synopsis about that movie for anyone who hasn't seen it.
So Sandra Bullock and Sylvester Stallone, and he's in the future. And when they have sex, there's no exchanging of body fluids. You don't have to worry about STDs. It's virtual reality, and you put on a bodysuit. And you have all the same stimulations. Like, you still get off. Like, you do have, like, all, like, the basic same bottom line without any of the downside, right? And there are some people, and that prefer just to do it themselves rather than have to deal with the drama of another partner. Right?
Yeah.
You got to pay. You got to deal with the take them out to dinner, the drama, all that. Like, you just handle it yourself, right? And with robot sex, or virtual reality sex, or you could take it even to maybe something that there's good and bad in that. There's something, I just read an article, I have it pulled up right now, called remote intimacy. Now that we're more global, like, people are away from each other, people work really hard, one person's in New York or separated, one person goes away to school, and you can have remote intimacy. Where,
oh dear, they call that phone sex. That's been around for a while.
But now
you can control it with an app.
Now you can actually control stimulation with your phone.
Beckett, does this voice turn you on?
No, but I think that now they can actually have, I don't know. I think
like long distance relationships.
I think it's interesting, like the virtual fantasies. Like, a lot of times, women are guilty as well. But I think that men have a reputation for being straying more than women. So what if they could get their fill, so to speak, with certain things that are virtual reality?
I think there's
Totally.
definitely with FaceTime. If you're man or your woman's in Oregon and you're in Florida, you're able to, hey, baby, oh, look at those things. You're able to do that now that you weren't able to do that. I can see how that technology helps with the whole, sex stuff.
Right.
It does. I mean, texting.
So what are your thoughts if we no longer are carnal, we now switch to this digital? Because, technically, more or less, it's things firing in your brain that are giving you sensations and whatnot. So, if it's the same thing achieved either way, would it bother you in any sense to do it the clean way, I guess?
So if I wanted to get to my house from the radio station tonight, right? Like, it's a goal, right? And you could say orgasm is a goal, right?
All right.
Like, that's A to B, right? And in olden times, I was going to have to either walk, maybe ride a horse to get there to my house. Nowadays, I can call Uber. Get there.
Yeah.
Same bottom line. That's technology has made it more efficient.
So you're saying technology is getting more people laid? It is. It is.
Laid or off. Like, it's, and what are I'm opening it up to you guys, is that, I think that the answer is there's going to be good and bad that comes along with that. But now you don't have to worry about abortions, accidental pregnancies, STDs, whatever, but you're still getting
bottom line here's
cheating. You don't have to worry about cheating because you can go on the virtual reality thing like you're playing Nintendo 64 and just like have a good time. Like,
ain't nothing better than the real thing. You can
Have you ever had the Impossible Burger?
The Impossible Burger? No.
Yeah, so Leonardo DiCaprio is a investor, and it's a vegetarian burger. They call it Impossible because it's possible. It's not real. They have it at Twin Peaks, by the way. It's phenomenal, and I think it's better than the real thing.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, I think that
it's a substitute for the real thing.
Gotcha.
Technology can maybe get to a point. Like when veggie burgers first came out, I'm using an analogy. Veggie burgers first came out, they sucked.
They were rough.
They're horrible. And now they're arguably equal in terms of health and taste, better. So
Beyond
I think
Burger is real good.
When virtual sex comes out 1.0, which it already kind of exists, you'll be like, like as Pamela Anderson, right? Like that's like doing it your own self. But I think that technology could reach a point where there could be a conversation like, it's just as good. Without any of the downside,
Vicky, you being the woman here, what are your thoughts on it?
I think we need physical contact because ultimately, because you mentioned if orgasm is the goal, if that's the case, nobody would ever. You can take care of that yourself.
Exactly.
We need human contact. We need to physically be with people. So
yeah, the virtual is never going to be like the real thing.
That's our generation, but the current generation, we've talked about social media in the beginning.
No,
social media has.
If that's your normal technology and that's how you're, I'm sorry, a warm body touching your body is always going to be better than looking at FaceTime.
So what if virtual reality gives you a warm body?
I don't know. I think Ryan needs to make another appointment with Dr. Pennington because a lot of the things that he talks about have to do with you don't have to form a lasting relationship or any kind of commitment to some of the things that you keep talking about, Ryan. I think you need to see the doctor again.
Yeah, you don't have to. If you're like Vicky said, orgasm. You don't have to have a partner for that. You know. We can delve into this later. We're going over time.
Furthermore,
kind of got weird towards the end. I like it though.
Well, I thought that was the point.
Weird and whatever. Yes, if anyone has anything to plug it now. Or if not, I'm going to end this thing. We love you all, and Bigfoot is real.
What was that?
What?
What's that sound? It's aliens and they're living in your town.